time for And the Winner Is Motorsports Show, a production of the ETV Live Auto Sports Entertainment Network. Get ready for 2 fun-filled hours of racing dialogue, race results, commentary from drivers, promoters, sponsors, media dignitaries, and much, much more. And now, the racing devil, Mike Neff, and the ringmaster of motorsports, Wesley Outland. This is And the Winner Is Motorsports Show.
Good evening, one and all, and welcome to the February the 18th edition of And the Winner Is Motorsports Show on TV Live, powered by the HD Radio Network. It is Speed Weeks at Daytona. Of course, a lot of great things happening. You had the NASCAR Sprint Cup Series with their first race of the year at the Sprint Unlimited on Saturday night, with the exception of the big 8-car pileup on lap 15. A lot of people are still optimistic on what they think of the Gen 6 car. I myself am as well. Of course, I didn't get to watch the race until last night when I got back home to North Carolina. But I was at the World Center of Racing, Daytona International Speedway yesterday. I did check out the Daytona 500 qualifying presented by Kroger. And yes, history was made as for the first time ever since Janet Guthrie was able to put her car in the 500 in a 9th starting spot 2 times in her career. A female has won the pole for the Great American Race, the 55th running of the Daytona 500. Remember, that will be on Sunday, February 24th on MRN, as well as on Fox at 1 p.m. Eastern. And yours truly will be there at the World Center of Racing next Sunday for the Great American Race. I'll be leaving to head down to Daytona and Tampa on Thursday. And, of course, we are going to connect with Mike Neff in just a moment. Mike Neff is actually at Daytona as we speak, as he is high above the press tower, above the back straightaway at the World Center of Racing. We are going to talk to him. We've also got great guests lined up for tonight, including the following. We're going to have Mike Neff on the show. Marcus Morgan will be joining me momentarily. We're going to won the first super late model race at New Smyrna Speedway. We've got a lot of great things going on. As a matter of fact, let's go back to the phone lines and high above the press tower, above the World Center of Racing at the back straightaway for the University of Northwestern Ohio Battle of the Beats from Kannapolis, North Carolina, Mike Neff. Mike, how you doing, buddy?
I'm great, brother. How's it treating you?
I'm doing great. It really sucked that I had to come home last night late, but was at Daytona yesterday, and we're going to chat about all that. We got some other great guests lined up, including Chad Stapleton, driver of the number 32, super late model of dirt out of Indianapolis, Indiana. Total Chaos will have him on the program, and waiting to hear back from Ernie Shelton. He is going to be on to talk about the history of NASCAR. Just so many great things we got lined up. And Mike Neff, one thing, we didn't want to have a lot of these drivers of asphalt or dirt on because, let's face it, they're all down there in Florida doing what they do best.
Yeah, that's been the challenge, is getting some guys that didn't have something going on to be able to talk. I had hoped to try and get some stuff in the can today and maybe do some pre-recorded interviews, but the schedule that they've been on today between working on cars and going out and getting some practice in, there just hasn't been time to get any time with any drivers that are around the track. So right now it's kind of cool, actually. I am sitting in the Daytona International Speedway suite that is above the backstretch here at Daytona, right at the entrance to Turn 3 on the temporary course.
Right.
And they are rolling out heat race number 2 as we speak for the late model qualifying. They're only running 2 heat races.
Yeah.
They initially set it up for 4, but the entry list was down. Only had 28 cars show up, I believe, and so we've got 14 cars in each heat, and they're only running 2 heat races. So far, heat race number 1, Kyle Larson coming to the green, missed a shift, dropped back as far as 6th place, muscled his way back to the front by lap 12, not afraid to use the bumper at all. And pretty much pulled away from it. Anthony Anders stayed close with him, but was just never able to mount a charge from that point on. And that puts Larson on the front row for the final feature. Depending on who comes out of this race, they're going to do a coin flip between the winner of the two heat races, and I believe the winner of heat race number 1 is going to call it, and whoever wins the coin flip gets to choose if they start inside or outside, and then all the finishing cars from their heat will line up behind them. So depending on who wins the coin flip will determine which row they're in, and all those cars from that given heat race will line up behind them. So we have 25 laps getting ready to roll here. Flagman, I believe, is showing the furled flag as we speak. So lights are going out on a pace car, and we should be going green momentarily. So it's kind of fun.
Absolutely. And I just got one thing to say. It's disappointing, Mike Neff, that only 29 cars showed up for that late model race tonight. Remember, 7 o'clock Eastern, and we're going to be on with Mike until 7 o'clock, and then me and Marcus Morgan will take it to the 8 o'clock hour. But it's disappointing.
I can elaborate a little on at least what I've learned in being down here, and I apologize for not knowing before, but NASCAR made the decision to allow super late models and late models into the late model division for this.
Right.
And I think that in the end hurt them on both fronts. I think some of the late model guys decided not to come down because they thought supers were going to dominate. And I think a lot of the super guys either chose to not come run over here because they're running supers at New Smyrna and the rules are so different that they couldn't run at both tracks. And so you ended up, had they decided to run two different divisions, I think one with late model stocks and one with super late models, I think you'd have probably had 40 or 50 in both of them. But because they chose to combine them, I think it kind of backfired on them, and that's why we're sitting here with 28 cars in the event.
Absolutely, and I would now like to bring to the podium to our esteemed panel of guests, the madman Marcus Morgan, joining us fashionably late, but it's okay. How you doing, Marcus?
Good, just got off the road.
And, yeah, Mike, it wouldn't be fitting without you doing that at Daytona. The racing devil, Mike Neff, is in the house.
How's it going down there, Mike?
Going better for me than it is for Kaz Gralla at the moment. He just bounced her off the turn 4 exit wall, and he's looking a little worse for the wear. But he's still rolling.
I just want to say this, though, guys. It's disappointing, though, Marcus, to have the NASCAR Wheel and All-American Series for their – that's my pin, by the way. To have them for their first – oh, there's mine. Okay. I thought he had hijacked my pin from me. No, it's really disappointing, though, Marcus, for the NASCAR Wheel and All-American Series to have their first time to shine at Daytona, and they only have 29 cars show up, where there's late model stocks from all over the country, and only 29 make the trip down there.
I agree. I think that's a terrible thing to see. You know, one of the things that we're looking at, even as I travel today, was gas prices jumped up again.
That's ridiculous.
We're almost at $4 a gallon in North Carolina.
It is stupid. It is so ridiculous. And Mike, I was down in Florida a lot of last week. I'll be down there again beginning on Thursday, and then I will be there for the Daytona 500 on Sunday. But it's almost $4.90 something a gallon in Florida. How people are adapting to it, and what does the crowd look like for the Battle of the Beach tonight for the late model show?
Let me look out here out the window. I'd say we got about 1,000, 1,500 people out here that I can see. Now, mind you, there's a lot of seats underneath these suites where the people would be sitting up under in the cover and getting a better angle on the whole track that may have them, there may be more of them, but it looks like there's about 1,500 to 2,000 people here for the Battle of the Beach.
Absolutely. That's not bad. I mean, but to me, you would think there'd be a lot more, Marcus.
Yeah, I mean, it's a Monday night, you know? I mean, getting fans out to the track on a Monday night could be a bit of a challenge. You've also got New Smyrna's running. You got Volusia running. Yeah. East Bay's running. Bubba, I think, has got some stuff going on. So there's a lot of places to be in this general area for racing this Monday night. So I don't think it's a bad crowd at all, honestly, especially for this first time around. But I do hope that, you know, it's first time for anything. Anytime you have the first time of something, there's some growing pains involved. I really hope that a lot of drivers realize they could race their way into this show and will make the trip down next year. I also hope that the NASCAR guys will work with New Smyrna to try to get some more standardized rules so guys can run both places.
And, you know, that's one of the things that I'm going to talk about tonight, guys, is that, you know, I was down there at East Bay, and then you've got the World of Outlaws at Bubba, and all it does, Marcus Morgan, is it splits the car count up. These promoters do not want to work together. These series programs do not want to work together. Everybody wants to race against each other, and all that's happening is it's splitting the car counts up. It's splitting the fans up. The promoters are losing money. The sanctioning bodies are losing money, and bottom line, nobody's too successful from it.
That's exactly right. You know, and I don't know what it's going to take, Wesley and Mike, to get these guys to realize now, especially more than ever, they're going to have to work together.
Right.
If they don't start working together, they're going to continue to drop out like flies. I mean, it's just you see it every month. It's another racetrack that can't make it. You know?
I mean, it's really a shame because, you know, I know for a fact that the promoter at Bubba Raceway Park was going to from Ocala was going to East Bay, and listen to the nerve of this guy. He's going into the pits, and he's telling drivers that they need to pack up and leave, that the promoter here at East Bay, don't do this, and he's not going to pay that. You need to load up, and you need to come to Bubba Raceway Park. That's wrong, in my opinion. I agree. That's, you know, that's borderline criminal.
And Mike, let me ask you this: what do you think is causing this, you know, this infighting, if you will, the politics of the sport being so nasty sometimes? I mean, instead of them working together.
It's just greed. I mean, that's all there is to it. You got promoters that only think about themselves, and they think that their track's the best, and they're going to be able to pull people away from other places instead of taking it. And I hate to say this because I love local short track racing. I want to be able to go every week somewhere. But I honestly think for local short tracks to truly succeed and to truly do well, they need to get away from weekly shows. I think you need to have a track run twice a month, maybe even once every 3 weeks. Have some bigger shows come in, pay some bigger purses, and pay bigger amounts to make the show. Well, so when guys show up, they know if they make the show, they get $500.
That's right.
It helps pay the tire bill. It's not paying the whole thing. And I think and you're starting to see a little of it in Virginia between Motor Mile and South Boston, where they worked it out this year. That when they ran their double feature weekends, they at least ran those on opposite weekends, so they weren't trying to pull from the same pool of cars.
Right. Yeah, exactly.
I don't know. You have these promoter workshops, and the promoters all get together and they talk about what it takes to be successful, and it seems like they all want to work together, but then they go put out their schedules and they don't.
But
so it's
you brought up
it comes to a point where they have to realize that they have to work together and not schedule stuff every single week. I'm curious, really, to see, and I got a chance to talk to Brad Allen today, which was really cool, because he's the new general manager now at Southern National. And I really think that he's going to be working with some of the other Eastern Virginia, North Carolina tracks to try to do this, to try to not poach from each other and try and have fewer shows, but, oh my word, Coleman Presley just dumped Lee Pulliam bigger than not going into turn number 3.
Wow. Lee Pulliam is the NASCAR Will and All-American Series late model champion. We've had him on And the Winner is many a times. I think Coleman Presley's been on before too, Mike.
He has. But anyway, I really think you're going to see Brad Allen be the one that starts to get this movement going, at least in Eastern North Carolina. And if he's able to make that work and some other people start to see the success of it, I think you'll see more and more tracks understand that less is more, and working together, everybody can benefit. The problem is just getting promoters to understand that not being open every week will actually allow them to make more money in the long run.
I agree with you 100%. I'd like to see him follow the model set forth by the NFL.
Yeah.
I mean, where there's divisional rivalries, where there's a schedule, where everybody has, you know, a game, a race, if you will, right? And it rotates around. Hey, maybe this is a home race for us, or an away race.
I think something that NASCAR needs to look into, and this is the Will and All-American Series, is they need to have like a state series. I mean, do you agree with me, Mike? I mean, if there's NASCAR tracks in Georgia, then there's some certain tracks, and yeah, they're not all in. You know, you might have to do a little bit more traveling, but I think if they came up with like North Carolina with the State Series, you've got Hickory, you've got Caraway, you've got you've got Southern National NASCAR sanction. You've got all these places that are in the NASCAR sanctioning body. They need to have, like, I believe, and it don't have to be like a drug out 20 or 30 week series.
No.
But it needs to be like a 5.
Yeah, you run six or 8 races would be great.
Yeah.
And I'm with you. There's they actually, and I know you laugh at me about my bass fishing, but they do that in bass fishing for the Walmart. They call it the BFL, the Bass Fishing League, and they have different divisions that fish in different areas. You know, North Carolina, South Carolina are actually divided up into like 3 different regions. And you could have regional series where somebody could run, Motor Mile, South Boston, Langley, Old Dominion, if they were still open, a handful of races in a small area like that, and put some money into it, like they did with that Virginia Triple Crown last year. 3 races, the guy that scores the most points wins $10,000. I mean, that was really cool. And C.E. Falk ended up walking away with the dough. It all comes down to people working together. Who's going to fit the bill? Can we get each track to put some money into it, and how it would all work out? But in the end, if the promoters are smart, that's the way they'll do it. But as we've seen for a long time, not all promoters are smart.
Guys, we got to take a quick break. When we come back, we are going to have on, we're going to talk with Mike from the Press Tower high above Daytona International Speedway. I was there yesterday. Mike was as well. Marcus, I know you were watching on the television that Fox showed Daytona 500 qualifying presented by Kroger, and we all witnessed history.
Danica.
We witnessed history,
Go Danica.
And I am going to make my formal apology to Danica Patrick on the radio show tonight.
You better.
I'm not going to kiss her ass by any means of the imagination, but I will say this much, guys. She did impress me. I do believe maybe this might be the year for people to maybe notice Danica. She was quickest on the charts on Saturday in the final practice session for Daytona 500 qualifying, and she backed it up, going almost 196.334 miles an hour. And fastest car since
1989.
Yeah, well, I thought it was 99. I could be wrong. Okay, 89. You're right.
89 and 90, Ken Schrader went faster for the pole both of those years at Daytona. But that's been the fastest.
We're going to talk about Danica Patrick. We're going to talk about the Gen 6 car. We're going to talk about the Sprint Unlimited. We've also just been confirmed. We'll see if we can do something around 6:30 with James Essex of the Lucas Oil Late Model Dirt Series, recapping the Dartmouth Internationals. And I'll tell you what. What if? How about Earl Pearson Jr.? First win in 3 years, Mike Neff. He broke through. Last victory was in 2010 at the Carl Short Dirt Track World Championship at West Virginia Motor Speedway that I was a part of, that Fast Track was a part of. And Marcus, we were at that event. Remember at the 5/8 mile, Earl Pearson Jr. won that race. That was his last big payday. Well, he finally broke through and won at East Bay in the final night of the Winter Nationals. We've got a special one-on-one interview with him tonight. And also Chad Stapleton. Stephen Nassie's supposed to be calling in after he gets done qualifying his Super, Mike Neff, at New Smyrna. So we got a lot to cover.
Awesome. And for those people who care, Coleman Presley did get sent to the back for rough driving and has worked his way back up to 7th and is on Lee Fulliam's back bumper once again.
Now, this is in the second heat race, am I correct?
Correct. We got 4 laps to go right now. I believe that's Matt Bowling in the Bowling was in the previous one. I forget who's driving the 46, but they've been walking away on this deal. Brian Ortiz in second in the 2. Kaz Gralla, damaged car and all, is sitting in 3rd, and Myatt Schneider, what's his name? Schneider, Matt Schneider's son from TNT, is sitting in 4th.
Awesome.
Pretty cool.
Let's take a quick break. When we come back, we will talk more Daytona. Speed Weeks is here. The 500 is Sunday, and Mike Neff is at Daytona. Me and Marcus Morgan are at Command Central in 4 Oaks. We'll be ready for Daytona on Sunday, and this is AndTheWinnerIs Motorsports Show on ETV Live, powered by the HD Radio Network. We'll be back right after this quick break. Shortway Real Estate Incorporated, conveniently located off of intersection I-81 and I-77 in Whitfield, Virginia. Services all of Southwest Virginia in residential, farms, recreational, and commercial properties. The company is owned by Jason and Judy Short. Judy has been in the real estate market for over 15 years and is the broker of Shortway Real Estate. And they have two of the top agents in Southwest Virginia. Their goal is simple: to provide the best customer service and build business on repeat clients. You can get pre-approvals in less than 20 minutes. They have many properties located on over 300 websites nationwide. You can call 24 hours a day, 7 days a week for customer service guaranteed. And guess what? Licensed in Virginia, they can show you any property listed in the Commonwealth state. They're located at 1205 East Main Street in Whitfield, Virginia. For more details, call 276-223-4018. That's 276-223-4018. Shortway Real Estate Incorporated, reminding you, take the short way home.
ETV Live, always pushing the bar just a little bit further, is proud to introduce ETV Live Radio, supported by the HD Radio Network. ETV Live Radio features classic rock every hour, every day. You can also catch live events such as Race Day broadcast right from the booth. Open Paddock Live at 9:30 p.m. Tuesday nights. The Pit Report on Friday nights at 7 p.m. ETV Live Radio featured in the sports section of iTunes. Get the mobile app from TuneIn.com and look for us on Windows Media Guide. ETV Live Radio on the HD Radio Network.
This is Bobby Labonte, and you're listening to And the Winner Is.
Welcome back to the program. The sound of cars, the smell of fuel, and burning rubber. And you know one thing's for certain, Marcus Morgan, you know racing season's here again, don't you, buddy?
I can smell the fuel.
Welcome back to the program, everybody. 22 after the hour on 6 o'clock, Monday, February the 18th. Now, guys, I got a question. Do you consider the Sprint Unlimited as pretty much the start of the NASCAR season, or is it always has been, will, and forever will be the Daytona 500? Because it seems like the last couple of years now, the Sprint Unlimited has really picked up being a popular event. Mike, what's your thoughts on that from the World Center of Racing?
I mean, I always consider it the first one because it's the first time you actually see Cup cars racing.
Right.
But Saturday night was a stretch to call that a race.
Yeah.
I actually tweeted out when it was over that I went to the Sprint Unlimited and an ARCA race broke out.
19.
Because for the last two-thirds of that race, for the most part, it was a parade. It was really bad. But as Harvick said in the post-race interviews, if you got 8 cars in one line and 4 cars in another, the 8 cars were going to win out almost every time. There wasn't enough momentum with 3 or 4 cars in a line to move on the inside. The outside could side draft them and it would just kill their momentum, and that was it. So would they get 43 of them out there? I don't even know if you're going to see it that much in the duels. But when we get 43 of them out there next Sunday, I think both lanes ought to move. And I also think the middle, once we have that many cars out there, is going to actually show some promise. Where the other night, if you made some ground in the middle and were able to get back in another line, you were all right. But if you made the run and they got hung in the middle, you went all the way back.
Right. Marcus, what's your thoughts of it, buddy? Was it, was it pretty much a boring event to you? Or, it was a marathon. It really was. Lap 14, they had the big wreck, take out 8 cars. A lot of good contenders got taken out. Jeff Gordon, Jimmy Johnson, Carl Edwards, some big names.
Lap 14 with the 14.
Yeah. Yeah, and
he's the one that came down. He's the one that came down and over aggressive, on that move and caused the whole.
Tony Stewart.
Yep.
Yeah.
Caused the whole thing.
But is it because he admitted? Because I watched the race last night. He admitted that his spotter did not clear him to go to the outside. Well, he made that move on his own, and it cost him.
Let me touch on this because this is the difference between the Gen 6 car and the old car. The old car, he could have gotten away with it. He would have gotten tapped. And there wouldn't have been such a violent reaction that he had to jump off the pedal and correct it.
Right.
And actually, that it's an accordion effect. It's not him or Ambrose that got in trouble.
Right.
It's everyone behind them. okay? And that's what you see. These cars are pinned down on the nose. The arrow has got them pinned down, every single one of them, right? Well, that actually helps to loosen the rear end of the car in those circumstances, okay? So you've got that sudden impact on the right corner like that, okay?
Right.
And next thing you know, you got the big one.
Mike, obviously we can't have you give play-by-play of what's going on because the folks at Speed 51, Mr. Bob Dillner, will try to sue us. But what's going on the racetrack right now?
At this point in time, they have brought the Victory Lane stage out onto the track. They're getting ready to do the coin flip to decide which line is which. And once they get that done, they're going to get them lined up, and they're working on the cars a little bit right now. And then at 7:15 is when we're supposed to be going green.
A coin flip? Are you serious?
Yes, they're doing the winner of the 2 heat races.
Right.
They're going to do a coin flip. The one who wins the coin flip gets to choose starting inside or outside, and then all the guys that were in his heat will line up behind him in that specific lane.
Okay.
So whoever wins the coin flip gets to go inside or outside.
And remember, you can actually watch live flag-to-flag coverage, 150 laps with the NASCAR Wheel and All-American late models at the Battle of the Beach, presented by University of Northwestern Ohio tonight, 7 p.m. Eastern on Speed. So, Giovanni Leonard from FrontStretch.com, also helping out PR with Mike Neff. But I'll tell you what, though, Mike and Marcus, Danica Patrick, first lady in the history of the Daytona International Speedway. The only lady that was closest to starting the 500 was Janet Guthrie, who started 9th in the Great American Race. But Mike Neff, I was there yesterday, you were there yesterday, and what an awesome lap she put down around the World Center of Racing.
How about the fact that for 11 we've had a different pole winner?
Really? After
11 straight years.
11 straight years.
How about that? Right. Mike, what's your thoughts of it, buddy? Pretty good qualifying yesterday by Danica.
Yeah, I mean, and before all you conspiracy theorists get all wound up, there are all sorts of people emailing some folk last night about, oh, her engine had to be illegal, I heard it's oversized, blah, 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 blah. Well, guess what? Her 2 teammates are in the top 5. If it had been, Tony Stewart 15th and Ryan Newman 22nd, then you might have a complaint. But when the 3 team cars are all in the top 5, it comes down to thousandths, if not 10,000ths of a second. The one advantage she has, and I've heard Robin Pemberton was actually talking about it Saturday.
Right.
Or Sunday, excuse me, is that she does have a slight weight advantage. Now, mind you, they do weigh the drivers periodically throughout the year, and whatever they weigh in at, they use 180 pounds as the benchmark with this new car. If you are under 180 pounds for every, I can't remember if it's 10 or 20 pounds that you're under, you have to add weight to your car. So depending on what she weighed in at, and I can't believe she's much more than about 105, 110 soaking wet,
right,
they do have to add a little bit of weight to her car, but depending on how they weigh in, I was actually talking with some people on Sunday about how Sterling Marlin used to go to the driver weigh-in when you had to weigh in and put lead in his driving suit so that he weighed extra and was able to not have to add so much weight to his car so he'd have a weight advantage. And, depending on what she wears and how damp she is when she goes, if she gets out of the shower or something to go straight to weigh in, she may weigh a little bit more. So I don't know how that all played out. But with her size, she probably does have a very minor weight advantage, and that may be all it took to put her on the pole, because 0.003 of a second is what the difference was, and that could easily be a couple pounds when you're dealing with the fraction of seconds they are.
Those cars...
But, I mean, as far as just driving in a circle and holding the gas down, she held the tightest line of anybody. If you watch that dartfish technology or ghosting, whatever you want to call it, that they showed, she was lower on the track than anybody else all the way around.
Yeah, see,
and that may, in and of itself, be what did it.
Yeah, where I was at in Turn 1, they had the big Sprint Vision video board, and it looked like what they were doing was they had the MRN announcers calling qualifying over the PA, but they had the Fox feed, unless they went to commercial break, showing what was happening on the screen. And yes, you could see the ghost car, Marcus, what you were going to talk about it. As a viewer at home, what were you going to say?
Well, one of the things that I noticed with Danica is because of her open wheel experience, is she holds a much tighter wheel. You know, those IRL cars, you know, they have to be kept a
she's up on
a lot more stringent on how they move around. You know what I'm saying?
I agree.
And I think that this was a perfect example of her capability. She held a tighter line around Daytona, and that little bit gave her that edge over Gordon. Now, Gordon ran a great race.
Yeah, he put on a pretty good lap time.
Pretty good lap. He's on the outside, you know, the front row, so he's the first, you know, the fastest guy.
Yeah.
You know, but if you look at all of them, if you look at all of them
let me clarify. He is a guy, not a girl. Okay, I mean, oh my God!
I know.
Jokes have.
You had to be in the press. You had to be in the press conference afterwards to get how funny that really was.
Yeah.
Because somebody made that comment to him that he was the fastest guy, and Jeff came back and said, "Yeah, but being a fast guy isn't always a good thing."
Absolutely. Guys, we got to go to the phone lines calling in at 6:30. It is the driver of the number 51 entry, Stephen Nassy, winner last night at New Smyrna Speedway. Stephen taking a break after having a qualifying session at New Smyrna tonight, preparing for the World Series of Asphalt Stock Car Racing just down the road from Daytona. Mike Neff, Stephen is at Daytona International Speedway at the Battle of the Beach. And you're joined by Marcus Morgan and yours truly, Wesley Outland. How's it going, Stephen?
Pretty good, pretty good.
Man, how'd things go for you last night at New Smyrna? And God, was it cold!
Yeah, man, it was freezing. My feet were numb before I got in the race car. Actually, you know, it was pretty chilly for Florida, but you know, the race was great. We had a good starting spot in fourth, and ended up getting to the lead pretty early and just being able to kind of drive away. And I was trying to hit my line and stay smooth, and then it all worked out for us there in the end.
Mike Neff, I just wanted to say, as me and you were at Daytona yesterday, it was probably the most miserable I ever was at a racetrack. It wasn't the fact that the qualifying was exciting to watch and everything, but it was just cold. I mean, it was just really, really cold, and that wind blowing made it even worse.
I think the worst for me was the 2006 Daytona 500. It's the only 500 I've been to since the 80s.
Right.
But on Saturday, for the nationwide race, it was like 82 degrees. So Sunday we come over to the track, I got on a tank top and shorts, and it was 52 degrees. It was not raining, but just like a heavy, foggy mist, and the wind was blowing about 30 miles an hour. I freaking froze to death. That was the most uncomfortable I've ever been. Last night, we knew it was going to be cold. So I was actually at Volusia standing in the infield taking pictures, but I had a flannel insulated shirt on, and I was good to go. So I'd say 2006 Daytona 500 was worse for me.
Okay. Awesome. Well, Steve,
there you
go. Steve, I'll tell you what, talk about what it was like running around New Smyrna, because that's a fairly nice racetrack. You know, how did you adapt to the cold conditions running around the racetrack last night?
You know, yeah, New Smyrna is a lot of fun to race around. It's starting to turn kind of one groove, though. There's only really one main racing line that's a higher line, so makes it tough to be able to pass when you got to make your way through the field. And you know, the car got tighter because it was colder, so everything kind of tightens up. Everything gets harder, and you know, we were kind of struggling with that most of the race. But other than that, you know, it was pretty smooth sailing. You know, it wasn't too bad. We were able to hold off Kyle Benjamin there for the win, and me and him on the first night, on Friday night, we were neck and neck right there for the win too. And you know, I think it's going to be a lot of me and him 1 and 2. And that's really how it's been. And just in qualifying, just 10, 15 minutes ago, we were 1 and 2 again. So unfortunately, he threw a pill number 10, and now we got to start 9th and 10th. So got our work cut out for us tonight.
So Marcus,
that could be exciting.
Well, Marcus,
I think you got to let Benjamin get in front of you and let him pick his way through the field and just follow him and save your stuff till the end.
Yeah, exactly.
Marcus is messing with his new cell phone. He finally got him a new phone instead of the dinosaur phone he's had for years. So he's all caught up and corrupted into that. No, I just wanted to ask you, Marcus. You know, what was your thoughts of you know, the conditions of the racing, and Well, the question is this. Stephen, why did you make the decision not to go to Daytona but just run at New Smyrna? What was the deciding factor on that?
Really just because I love going to New Smyrna, to be honest. New Smyrna is just a place I've always enjoyed to race at and a place we've always been fast at. So, and last year we're kind of kicking ourselves in the butts because we didn't come all the nights. We only came the second half of the week, and Kyle Benjamin ended up winning a lot of races while we weren't around. And even while we were there, you know, he was still fast and still won a couple races. But, you know, so we're kind of upset by that. You know, we weren't expecting anybody to come in there and kind of dominate, you know. So we had to come back this year and show what we had and show that we're always going to be around here.
Absolutely. Mike Neff, why do you think a lot of the wow, can you believe this, guys? The NASCAR.com website's down. Wow, I just went to NASCAR.com and it's saying that the website is down.
Well, they got hacked, maybe?
I don't know.
Hey.
But
maybe the pictures on the front just got so big that it killed the thing.
I don't know. NASCAR.com website is down. I've opened up on three different web browsers, the same thing, and it's very simple. NASCAR.com, and the website will not open. But anyhow, I just wanted to go by real quickly. Stephen Nasty, can you explain the format of how the way they set everything up for the events at New Smyrna for the asphalt, you know, the World Series of Asphalt Short Track Racing?
What do you mean? You know,
I mean, like, if you won Sunday night, are you automatically locked in for the big show on this upcoming Saturday? Or, I mean, how abouts do they go about it? Is it just different super late model, pro late model racing all week, and then Saturday's just the big show? I mean, is there any type of time way to get locked in? How do you do it?
No, every single night, it's a little bit different for each series. It's 9 nights, and, you know, every division has one night off,
right?
And which will be Tuesday. And the super late models, every single night we qualify for the race, for the 35 lap races, and it's not tire impound or anything. And then when it comes on to Saturday for the big 100 lap race, it'll be tire impound and qualifying.
Right.
So that would be interesting. And then the pro late models, they just go off of wherever they finished the night before, and the winner draws a pill, or top 10 draws a pill, and that's where they start. And then the modified, they qualify. So everybody's really in the last night of the show. I don't think there's really, I mean, unless they get a big turnout in supers or pros or modifieds, I don't think they'll be sending anybody home or anything.
Absolutely, absolutely. Well, buddy, what's the plan tonight at the racetrack? What you going to be doing there? How long or grueling is the racing, and is it cold tonight as it was last night in Florida?
Oh no, not even close. It's a little breeze, but it's nothing near what it was last night. And you know, tonight we just got a 35 lap race, and like I said, me and Kyle Benjamin starting back nice and tense, so it'll be an exciting show for the fans, I'm sure.
Absolutely. Mike Neff, that's a great idea. You know, what is your thoughts of the event? The World Series of Racing has always been a very, very popular race down in Florida during Daytona, during Speed Weeks. Now Daytona has came in and they wanted to have their ballot put in for doing something for short track racing. Is it going to hurt the New Smyrna event, Mike?
I mean, at least the way I look at it, I think it will help. I think the folks at New Smyrna and the folks at Daytona need to get together and come up with a common rule package, because from what I understood talking to some guys today, the super rules between New Smyrna and here were pretty dramatically different.
Right.
Like a 400-pound weight difference, I think.
Yep.
And you can't have guys having to strap that kind of lead on their car and make adjustments to be able to drive it. So I think next year, if they can come up with a common weight rule and try to make it so that you can run the same cars, just pack them up and drive them over, and maybe have the guys at New Smyrna not run on tomorrow night or whatever, so that you're not butting against each other. But as far as just the whole Florida experience, whether you're at New Smyrna, Volusia, Ocala, East Bay, whatever. I really like that these guys have, you know, a 4-day deal or a week-long deal or even a 2-week-long deal where you run, you accumulate points, and you crown a champion at the end of their given speed weeks in February. It gives people a reason to take that vacation early in the year and come down and see a bunch of good racing. It gives the drivers a reason to have their cars buttoned up and ready to go. It gives them a chance to shake their cars down early in the season before their home track actually starts running. It gives guys an excuse to get together and have some fun at the racetrack in February where the weather normally is good. Last couple nights been a little iffy, but it's going to be in the 80s by the end of the week. So I think it's cool. I think it's kind of like the summertime when you have the Hell Tour, the Summer Nationals, and stuff like that. You know, Indiana Sprint Week or Midget Week, where you guys can run a condensed show for a few nights, make it worthwhile to come down and actually win a purse every night and also some money at the end of the deal that it incents you to be around, but if you have a bad night, it doesn't cost you the whole thing either. So I like it. I wish there'd be a way to hook it up so that it would be easier to come down and spend 2 weeks away from my real job, but one of these years I'll win a lottery and then I won't have to worry about it.
Marcus Morgan, what's your question for Stephen Nass before we get off the air? Because I know Stephen's getting ready to go racing here in a bit.
Stephen, being from the Pinellas Park area, right, in Florida, is that
Yes.
You guys don't have that far to haul for, New Smyrna, speed weeks. So my question to you is, with this economy, the way it's affecting everybody, tracks, promoters, racers, and everybody, fans, when you're looking forward to 2013 and where are you going to go and race, how far are you willing to go? And are you going to stay pretty much in the southeast, or are you going to travel anywhere else?
Yeah, that's a good question.
We're gonna be everywhere. We've never really stayed in one area to race. I never really stayed in. I mean, unless you want to talk about trucks or when I first started racing late models or the pro trucks, obviously I stayed around Florida for that and kind of everywhere around in Florida. But for late models, for these big shows, I mean, you got to go everywhere. I mean, we're all over the place. There's no limits to where we will go, and we love at all kinds of new racetracks, and we try to do it all the time, and that definitely helps me more as a driver, too, going to new racetracks and never being there before and kind of adapting to it. That's always helped me. So, like I said, there's no limit to where we'll go to race.
Well, let me ask you a question to follow up on that. Are you going to be chasing any particular track championships or series championships this year that's going to, make you focus on a particular area?
We're going to try to do the Southern Super Series that goes to Pensacola, Mobile, Gresham, and Montgomery. So we'll run, I think it's 15 races. It includes the World Crown 300, and it goes to Nashville, sorry, the All-America 400, and those are a couple of biggest races that it'll have on its list. So we're going to try to get that championship. We've always been good at those tracks, so we'll see what we can do.
Absolutely. Well, Stephen, buddy, before we let you go, man, this is a great time for you to throw out your sponsors. I know you got to get your mind back on the game of racing, but, dude, thank you so much for coming in after your practice and qualifying session at New Smyrna Speedway in Florida, at New Smyrna Beach, Florida, and talking to us on the program tonight.
Yeah, no problem. And, mainly I just want to thank my dad. He does everything. I mean, he works so hard every single day of the week to try to help me race, and he does whatever he can to make me live my dream. So I just really want to thank him and my grandpa. He helps out, and a few of my grandpa's friends, and Jake, they came on board for Speed Week. So just everybody that puts their 2 cents in my race car, I really appreciate them all.
Well, that's good. Wesley's got 2 cents he could spare.
I hear you. Hey, we'll take it anywhere.
Definitely. Stephen, man, get your mind back in the racing game. We appreciate you being on tonight. And, dude, if you win the big show Saturday, we'll have you on the program next Monday. I think it's the second time we've had him on this year, Mike.
Yes, it is. Keep it up.
Absolutely. And that's if you win, you get on the show.
Hey, I tell you what, show them how it's done there at New Smyrna, man. Good luck.
Absolutely.
I'll do what I can do. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Stephen. Stephen Nassy stepping away from qualifying at New Smyrna Speedway in Florida. Just to hype it up, by the way, the Super Late Models are running this evening. And, Mike Neff, the USAC Asphalt Midget Series also down there. And Kyle Larson, is there nothing we cannot say about this driver? This man, young sensation. Go ahead.
You want to hear a good story about Kyle Larson?
Let's do it after the
Kyle Larson's.
Let's do it after the break. Let's take a quick break.
It's quick, I promise.
All right, go ahead. Go ahead.
Kyle Larson's never been in a modified in his life.
No, never. Top of the board.
Jumps in a modified, goes out, and in 5 laps is top of the board for practice for the Battle of the Beach for a modified.
Wow.
Dude can wheel anything.
I really believe he's going to be the next big NASCAR star. I really believe it. Keep an eye on young.
No doubt.
Been on the show before. Matter of fact, he won in the USAC Midgets last night. I tried to get him on And the Winner Is this evening for an interview, but he is busy racing. He is doing Marcus, he's doing triple duty. He is running the NASCAR late model stock race tonight. 7 o'clock Eastern on Speed. That's what we'll have to depart with Mike, because Mike will get ready for that race. And then he runs the K&N East-West Series race tomorrow and the modified race at Daytona tomorrow.
Yeah, that's a pretty good, well-rounded driver there.
And he is impressive. He just does an outstanding job. We are going to take a quick commercial break. When we come back, we will recap qualifying at Daytona. We'll talk more about Danica Patrick. We'll talk more about the way the field set for the Budweiser Duels, the Budweiser Duel 150s at Daytona, and a whole lot more. So stick around. And by the way, 12 years ago today, we lost the Intimidator. The best there is, the best there was, the best there ever will be, Dale Earnhardt. We have 3 seconds of a moment of silence in memory of the Intimidator. And the winner is will be back right after this word.
Coming to ATV Live Super Speedway Cup Series brings some new and exciting racing entertainment on Friday night. In shootout-style, drivers compete in hot lap heat races to qualify for the feature event. Drivers run the 3 heat races, then on to the Dash for Cash 15-lap showdown, and then ramp it up as they move on to the B main and A main feature events. Word has it they give the flagmen the night off, so no cautions, cowboy. Buckle in and sit back and hold on tight. You're in for a night of fun racing entertainment once again, brought to you live by ETV Live, your online autosports entertainment network, etv-eplay.net.
Owens, Moyer, Burkoffer, Mars, and Davenport all get dirty with FK.
Jim Owens wins!
FK Rod Ends is a family-owned American manufacturing company supporting the racing world for 25 years, as their rod ends have helped some of the nation's best dirt late model drivers find victory lane too many times to count.
Lucas Oil Late Model National Champion Billy Moyer!
Dedicated to quality, FK is your answer in the rod end game. So why wait? Get dirty with FK.
For more details, go online to www.fkrodians.com. FK Rodians sponsors all broadcasts on the Fast Track Radio Network.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to And the Winner Is.
From Daytona, Mike Neff. And I am the racing devil.
The ringmaster of motorsports, plus the Outland, Marcus Madman Morgan.
Arrgh.
That is, I knew he had it. I'm Mike Neff, the racing devil. Basically squatting at the moment in the Daytona International Speedway VIP box on the backstretch. Yeah, I was looking for a place to come and do the show without disturbing people. Yeah. And some guy walked out the door, and I looked in, and there was a guy in here, and I said, hey, anybody else in here? He goes, nah. We're all good. You can use it. So I'm just sitting here by myself in the Daytona Motor Speedway trust box or VIP box on the backstretch.
Absolutely. Well, let's recap what happened at Daytona yesterday in qualifying. Danica Patrick, she was the 8th car out. 196.434 miles per hour. And again, Danica Patrick was faster.
There's only 2 cars that ran 196. That was her.
Yeah, and Jeff Gordon.
That's it.
Yeah, Jeff Gordon turned. He was 30th car out. He went 196.292 miles per hour. And Trevor Bain, the 2011 winner of the 500, 22 years of age, or 23 years of age, excuse me. He'll start third. But, of course, if you're not on the front row, Mike Neff, that doesn't mean a hill of beans, because that's where you are going to be for the Budweiser Dual 150s. Right. Talk about that.
Yeah, basically the front 2 spots are locked in. If you were the top 2 qualifying speeds, you're going to start on the front row for the Daytona 500. The next 4 drivers on speed know that they will race in the Daytona 500 because the qualifying procedures are you have dual 150-mile races on Thursday. The top 16 finishers in those races are locked into the Daytona 500. That gives you 32 plus the front 2 cars makes it 34. The next 4 positions are the fastest qualifiers who have not raced their way into the duels. So as of right now, you know if you're not one of the top 2, but you're one of the next 4 fastest qualifying cars, you know you're going to be in the race. You may not start further up than 33rd, because if you don't race your way in and you get in on speed, 33rd is where you would start. But you're at least in the race. You then have 2 provisionals that come from driver points from last year if you have not made it in through the duel or on your speed. And then the last position is reserved for a previous champion who has not made it into the race under the other format.
Okay.
If for some reason there is not a past champion, then you have 1 more provisional that is allotted to the 43rd spot.
And I am looking right now at the way you're locked in. Pole winner, Danica Patrick. Jeff Gordon on the outside pole. And by the way, we're also watching the qualifying lap of Danica Patrick on our smartphone
smooth,
here.
Man.
Look at the way she's driving up to the outside lane.
Unbelievable.
Absolutely. And when we were in turn 1, and the crowd just erupted. I mean, folks, I'm going to tell you something. Mike Neff, we were part of history yesterday at Daytona. First speed.
First time a woman's ever been on the pole.
Now, the question is, though, she beat the clock, but can she beat these other 42 contenders on the track?
Even more important than that, guys, what she did for NASCAR was she took them from the sports pages to the front pages throughout the world. Everybody's talking about her.
It's all over.
Everybody's talking about Daytona, about NASCAR. It's all over the mainstream, okay? If it had been Jeff Gordon that edged her out, it would have just been on a sports.
It would have just been, Jeff Gordon got it. But
and trust me, you could see Joey Chitwood smile from across the racetrack. I mean, he was grinning from ear to ear because he knew his ticket sales just went through the roof when that happened.
Absolutely.
Oh, and by the way, can we talk about her new love interest, Ricky Stenhouse Jr.?
Oh yeah.
I mean,
no. Not talking about her love interest. Shut up.
What in the world did that out? I mean, what happened in the off season?
I have no idea. Hey, look, let's get back to it again. So Patrick and Gordon are locked in the 500 on the front row. Now, here's the question somebody asked me. Wesley, Danica Patrick and Jeff Gordon are both on the pole. Do they just need... Right, they're on the front row for the 500.
They each lead.
So should they just bail out of the duel?
No. Here's why. They're each going to lead each duel.
Right, they're going to lead duel 1. Patrick will. Right.
If they're smart, they're either going to do one of 2 things.
Park the car.
They're either going to try to stay out in front and learn about how their car acts out front since they got the position, or as soon as they get to being in some traffic, fall all the way back to the back and stay out of trouble.
But the thing is this, though, Mike Neff, and we've seen this happen with leaders that are on the pole for the 500. They get caught up in an accident, bam, they lose their starting position, have to fall to the back for the Great American Race.
How about the car? The car is the most important thing.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, they want the car.
Don't forget, that happened to Dale Earnhardt Jr. 2 years ago.
That's right.
Yeah.
He was on the pole, got caught up in a wreck in the duel, and had to start at the back of the pack. Now, I mean, Jeff Gordon even talked about it yesterday. That it'd be great to just drive to the back and ride around, but you know for a fact in the 500 you're not going to lead 200 laps. You're going to be in traffic, and you have to know how your car is going to handle, especially with this brand-new car that nobody is positive how it's going to handle in a 43-car pack.
Right.
So the more information he can get every lap on the track, he wants to get. So granted, he's not going to drop it in the middle of a three-wide sandwich or take an unnecessary risk. But at the same time, you've got to put it in some dangerous situation just to understand how it's going to feel. So for Patrick, it may not be that because she's raced the Daytona 500 before, but not for very long. So it's better for her to keep it out and make sure she's in her good starting position. I think Gordon's going to take a few more chances, but both of them, in reality, are probably going to take some chances just to get a feel for how their cars are going to react.
Got to learn these cars. There's no doubt about it, and the only chance they got is in these duels.
Okay, but the question is this, though. Do you think Danica Patrick getting the pole for the 500 has got people's mindset off of what they think of the Gen 6 car? Because me personally, I still think the car sucks, like I told everybody from the get-go.
No, I don't think it sucks, Wesley. I think what happens is
I don't think it sucks.
learning curve that everybody's got to go through. Now, I'm going to tell you my take on how it is that Danica did so well at qualifying yesterday. I think that this new Gen 6 car, and if you look back,
reminds her of an Indy car.
The whole Stewart-Haas organization having her on the fast track to get to full time this year was pre-planned, okay? So you had to know that with these new Gen 6 cars, making everybody on an equal playing field gives her an advantage, okay? That's where you need to look. If she can stay in pace with the top teams as they learn these cars in the first 4, 5, 6 races, if she can stay at that pace of learning, I think she'll be fine this season.
Yeah, but the bottom line is this, though, Mike Neff, as we're coming up about 10 minutes left with you till you have to go. Remember, 4 minutes from now, go to Speed TV, Speed Channel, and they're going to have flag-to-flag coverage of the 150-lap Whelen All-American late model race from the Battle of the Beach at Daytona. It took about 4 hours to prep and prepare.
Yep.
And they've got tires set up for retaining walls in some places. And Mike Neff, a lot of people are calling it Daytonsville Stadium, like Bowman Gray.
It's a little bit bigger than Bowman Gray, a little bit smaller than Martinsville. The interesting thing about it is the way they laid it out. The very center apex of the corners is actually at like a point. I mean, the end of the track is almost like a football, to where I think they set it up hoping that you would have people diving inside and beating and banging to try to get around the inside of the corner. So we'll, again, we're getting ready to see how it's all going to play out.
So, Mike,
but the way they've got it set up, the apex is at a defined point, which is kind of weird, but that's where they got it set up.
Well, let me ask you a question.
Oh, and to answer your other question about the advantage that Stewart-Haas had, I don't have any inside knowledge, but Tony Stewart went out of his way multiple times yesterday to thank Mobil 1 for the development that they had made in lubrication.
Absolutely.
And I honestly think, because he's sitting there with the same engines that Dale Jr. and Gordon and Kane and Johnson have, and outside of Gordon, the Stewart-Haas cars went faster than all of them. I truly believe that they figured out something in the lubrication side of things that gave them that last little bit of an advantage to get the pole and to put all three of their cars in the top 5.
Yeah, but the question is, though, is NASCAR going to catch that, and they're going to say, well, this has got to be stopped?
There's no rule on
lubrication
like that.
Well, I mean, there's rules about what can go in your oil, but as long as it's a synthetic, motor oil and it doesn't have any, some sort of super additive, extra Teflon, something or other.
I have a question.
I don't know what all the specifics are, but I guarantee you they ran it by NASCAR and made sure it was legal.
Here's something I want to throw out there.
What's that?
Danica Patrick was the 8th car to come out and qualify for the 500 yesterday. Jeff Gordon was the 30th.
Right.
Trevor Bayne was the 39th car.
Right.
And at this time, if I could remember, there was a lot of cloud cover about the 15th, 20th car till maybe the end. Do you think since there was clear sunshine around the racetrack, Mike, when Patrick came out and qualified, that we saw that gave her an advantage of the other cars that were fighting through cloud cover during qualifying yesterday?
I think it was more a gust of wind, honestly. Because if you look at that dartfish ghost technology thing, Stewart was ahead of her by 2 car lengths when he came out of turn 2. And he got about 2/3 of the way down the backstretch, and it looked like a parachute came out, and she shot past him.
Yeah.
And I really think that was him running into a headwind gust going down the backstretch that basically made the difference in their 2 laps.
Absolutely.
Mike, before you go, there's something I want to touch on.
Yeah.
How about these teams like Mark Martin and Kurt Busch who are struggling with all the cars that they've crashed so far? Have you heard
Martin
anything
got
about
taken
that?
out yesterday.
Yeah.
Kurt and Kyle Busch got their cars destroyed.
They're off to a rough start, obviously. What do you think's going on with them? They really struggling?
What about Jimmy Johnson?
I don't think that Johnson's got a problem because Hendrick's got a bunch of cars. They asked Richard Childress about that during the post-race press conference for the Unlimited, and he said that they had something like 3 to 5 cars back at the shop in Welcome that were available for front row or for furniture row if they needed them. And so if they're not able to get what they have pieced back together enough to be what they want for the 500, they'll run another car down from Welcome for Kurt. Because don't forget, Furniture Row is basically Richard Childress Racing's 4th team.
Yep.
They have the guy that is the competition director for Richard Childress Racing is also the director of competition for Furniture Row. And he actually has an office in Welcome, and he also has his office in Denver. And he splits time between the 2 organizations. So if there's a need for something for Furniture Row that can't be satisfied immediately with what they have in Denver, they will satisfy it out of Welcome because the teams work hand in hand. The crew chiefs for Furniture Row actually sit in on the debriefing meetings on Mondays with RCR. So it's basically a satellite operation.
Sure. Last question I got for you, Mike, before we let you go is Michael Waltrip running for Stremmy's team. What do you think about that?
And a nice charity he's doing.
Absolutely. I think it's...
Yeah, I think it's a little morbid that they put 26 on the car to commemorate the 26 people who died, but at the same time, I guess it's a nice thought.
Yeah.
But to be totally honest with you, I was on with Jerry Jordan on his radio show earlier this week, and he picked Michael Waltrip to win the 500. Don't forget, at Talladega, if he's not caught up in somebody else's mess, he was going to win that race last fall.
Oh, yeah.
Waltrip was going by on the inside and got swept up in somebody else's mess.
And
if he hadn't gotten caught in that wreck, he was going to win that race.
He knows how to get around Daytona.
The new car has brought back the pack style more than ever before, and the chess match that is truly drafting off of each other. And Michael Waltrip is as good as anybody at it. So it would not surprise me to see him in that Swan Racing 26 end up at the front, if not in victory lane on Sunday.
Again, Danica Patrick won the Coors Light Pole Award for the 500 yesterday at a speed of 196.434 miles per hour and a lap of 45.817 seconds. Patrick is the first female driver in history of NASCAR to win a pole in the NASCAR Sprint Cup Series, thus locking her in for the Sprint Unlimited next year. Janet Guthrie previously held the record for top starting position by a female driver twice, starting 9th in the 77 500 and at Talladega in August of 77 as well. It wasn't the Daytona 500. It was, she started 9th at Talladega in August 7th of 77 and at Bristol of August 28th of 77. So the previous best starting position by a female in the Daytona 500 was 18th by Janet Guthrie. This is Patrick's second NASCAR pole, also winning the Coors Light pole for the season-opening NASCAR Nationwide Series event at Daytona last season. Thus, it doesn't count because you're not locked into Sprint Unlimited for that. And I just wanted to hint this out here real quickly. Locked in the Daytona 500, at least by speed, is 4 cars. Trevor Bayne, Ryan Newman, Tony Stewart, and Casey Kane. There are a total of 6 that are locked in by at least points provisionals, owners' points provisionals, and Mike mentioned them earlier, just not the names. Denny Hamlin, Ricky Stenhouse Jr., Clint Boyer, Jimmy Johnson, Brett Keselowski, last year's Sprint Cup champion, Greg Biffle, and Kurt Busch. Those drivers are, Greg Biffle. One driver is locked in as a past champions provisional, and that is Kurt Busch. So we know of at least 11 that know they're definitely in the race, guys. Everybody else has got to get on speed.
It's going to be great to watch these duels because there's going to be a lot of beating and banging for people trying to get position in the 500.
Yeah. Duels will be cool, but don't forget, there's 45 cars, so there's only 2 dudes going home. Brian Keselowski is a second and a half off the pace.
And why?
So unless he gets another salvation push from his brother, he's probably going home.
Well, I was going to ask you about
why was the car count off? Because I know in the past you're lucky you can get 60 cars or more for the 500. Why only 40?
I think we're seeing
It's a brand new car. I mean, everybody's scrambling just to get the parts to build the cars.
You hear about the parts?
So I don't think you had enough parts and pieces to put very many cars together.
And I have another question real quickly before me and Marcus give the line.
Right, talk quick. I got to roll.
Mike, final question. We'll let you go, dude. What was the decision change in Austin Dillon not driving a number 3 and instead he's in a 33? Real quickly.
Not this year, I heard.
From what I understand, Austin Dillon told everybody he's not going to drive a 3 in the Cup Series until he's competing full-time.
Right.
Awesome.
Right.
Awesome. Final question for Mike. Go ahead.
There you go. Y'all be cool.
All right, Mike.
I'm off to the UNOH Battle of the Beach. Y'all have fun finishing out the show, and I'll talk to you next week.
All right, buddy. We'll talk to you next week. And again, he'll be heading back home on Wednesday or Thursday, and I'll be down at Daytona for the 500. That's Mike Neff. Okay, Marcus, it's me and you until we have Chad Stapleton call us up. What's your thoughts on it?
I wanted to answer your question earlier. You were talking about the Gen 6 car and what did I think of it. So far, the drivers have given it a passing grade based on what they've experienced, thus far with the Unlimited race. But I still think that there's a big unknown there. We've got to see the duels before I'm convinced that if they start wrecking each other out and we end up with 20 cars that are wrecked from those races, I think we're going to be looking at it a little differently.
Yeah, definitely. I agree with you on that as well. And we are going to take a look at the starting lineup here for the event as we'll go row by row here. I'll introduce the first race, and then Marcus Morgan will give you the lineup for race number 2 for the Budweiser Dual 150s at Daytona, starting on Thursday. On the pole, Danica Patrick of the GoDaddy Chevrolet. Third in qualifying will be Trevor Bayne, 2011 Daytona 500 winner. He'll be in that number 21 Motorcraft Machine Ford. Row number 2 will be Smoke Tony Stewart, 4-time or 3-time NASCAR Sprint Cup champion of the Bass Pro Shops Mobile 1 Chevy. He will be on the inside of row 2. Outside will be the number 11 of Denny Hamlin in the FedEx Toyota. Row 3, Joey Logano in the Shell Pennzoil Ford in the 22. And his outside, Dale Earnhardt Jr., 2004 Daytona 500 winner in the 88 National Guard Chevrolet for Hendrick. Row number 4 to the inside, Casey Mears in the 13 of the Geico Ford. To his outside, it will be Carl Edwards in the 99 Fastenal Ford. We now move to your top 10, and that'll be Martin Truex Jr. in the Napa Auto Parts Toyota. Starting row 6 inside, 11th, Jimmy Johnson in the 48 Lowe Chevrolet, 5-time NASCAR champion, followed by last year's Sprint Cup champion, Brett Keselowski in the Miller Lite Ford. Row number 7, Kevin Harvick, winner of the Sprint Unlimited, 3-time winner of the Sprint Unlimited. He did it Saturday night at Daytona in the 29 Budweiser Chevrolet. And his outside, 14th starter, 16 of Greg Biffle in the 3M Ford. Row number 8, David Gilliland in the Love's Travel Shops Ford in the 38. To his outside, starting 16th, 26th, Michael Waltrip in the Sandy Hook School Support Fund Toyota. What a great thing he did for that, Marcus.
That's right.
Absolutely. Row number 9, 78 of Kurt Busch in the Furniture Row Chevrolet, and his outside, starting 18th, 95 of Scott Speed. Not seen his name in a long time. The Levine Family Racing Ford. Row number 10, starting 19th, the 51 of Reagan Smith in the Guy Roofing Chevrolet. To his outside, the 47 of Bobby Labonte in the Kroger Toyota. Row number 11, David Ruderman in the 83 Burger King Dr. Pepper Toyota. His outside, starting 22nd, front row Joe Nemechek in the 87 car, the Florida Department of Transportation DAB Constructors Toyota. And final starter, Brian Keselowski in the TruckerFan.com Toyota. And now Marcus Morgan will give you the starting lineup for race number 2, and that race is decided by the outside qualifiers.
Outside qualifier, Jeff Gordon starting on the pole for duel number 2. Alongside him will be Ryan Newman. And then in row 2, Casey Kane starting third with Kyle Busch alongside. Matt Kenseth leads the next row with Ricky Stenhouse Jr., Danica's boyfriend, on the outside.
You had to bring that up, didn't you?
Paul Menard in the Menard's Chevy starting 7th. Austin Dillon in the Honey Nut Cheerios Chevrolet starting in the 33 car. 8th. Clint Boyer in the 5-Hour Energy Toyota. Jeff Burton starting 10th in the Caterpillar Chevrolet. Jamie McMurray, he's starting 11th with himself still in that McDonald's Chevy. How about that? Marcus Ambrose starting off 12th in Stanley Ford. You've got Eric Almirola, his teammate, who's starting off in 13th, right behind him in the Smithfield Ford. Mark Martin, who's struggling with his cars this week, he's going to be in the 55. While Mark,
and I don't know how you can say struggling. He got taken out in that wreck there tonight. He could have missed it, but he just went into the wall head on.
With as many cars that they've wrecked, that's what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
And his car owner is obviously Michael Walton, the 26th. Then you got David Reagan in the 34 car. That's the detailed Dr. Ford, starting 15th. David's a good guy. Josh Wise is
up-and-coming driver.
That's right. Josh Wise in the MDS Transport 4. He's starting 16th. Hey, how about Michael McDowell driving for Phil Parsons in the K-Love Curb Records Ford? He's starting 17th.
Terry Labonte.
Terry Labonte.
Texas Terry.
That's right. In the 32, starting 18th. Dave Blaney driving the Florida Lottery Chevrolet. I saw that car. It's a good-looking car.
Oh, yeah.
He's not starting 19th. J.J. Yaley in the Golden Corral Chevrolet, and hopefully we can all go to the buffet after he does it. He's in the 36 car, starting 20th. Travis Kvapil in the Burger King Dr. Pepper Toyota. He's starting 21st in the 93. And Mike Bliss rounds out the duel number 2 in the G-Oil Pinker Tactical Toyota, starting 22nd in the 19 car. There's a name that's not in either one of these races, and I'm curious as to what you think about that. How about Landon Castle?
I just don't think they got their car made yet. Landon Castle. I had actually heard a rumor that Casey Atwood was thinking about getting back into the NASCAR sport. It's just really disappointing. And getting in as Mike have said, it might be the fact. This just in. February 17th, due to the high demand of numbers to be part of the FTC series, we have decided to raise the total number of entries to 50. Because iRacing service will only allow 43 to 45 pit stalls, some drivers will have to qualify in on time. We are going to provisionals to the top 33 registered drivers for the FTC, which is the World Championship race standings, and 2 provisionals. So again, the big announcement coming in from the for the Full Throttle Cup Series. So that's really good. Basically, practice and qualifying servers will consist of 2 servers in tournament format. We will grid the main event by time and award provisionals as necessary. Oh, that's pretty good. So now 50 drivers are now signed up for the Full Throttle Cup Series, and again, they start at Daytona next Monday night. Marcus, that's pretty sim racing, man, getting popular that way. That's pretty cool.
It's coming along. It's growing in popularity all the time. And what's neat is you get a lot of real, drivers that are coming from, all over that are participating. You never know who you're going to be racing against.
Absolutely. And I just want to throw this out here real quickly. You mentioned Landon Castle, and I'm looking through the lineup here from jski.com, and it's disappointing that you've got, listen, it was brought to my attention last week, Marcus, while I was down in Florida, that Dale Jr. has got to try to find sponsorship for 13 races. That he does not have sponsorship for 13 races this year.
Yeah, because National Guard is going away.
Yeah.
Yep.
And what gets me is you've got these sponsors like Loves travel shops. They've never done stuff with NASCAR before. You've got places like Florida DOT and the DAB Constructors, TruckerFan.com, Guy Roofing, Levine Family. You've got names like this that you hardly ever see in racing. G-Oil, Plinker Tactical, Florida Lottery, C&J Energy, Caleb, MDS Transport, Detail Doctor, Smithfield. You're seeing names of sponsorships.
Those are names you'd see in the Nationwide Series.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
But they are begging. They're wanting to, I mean, there are NASCAR teams that are begging for sponsorship.
It's the economy, stupid.
I know. Oh, you ain't got to call me stupid. I know exactly what it is. But, I mean, what a perfect chance for these lower-tier businesses. You know, lightning fast. Wouldn't it be awesome to see lightning fast on the Sprint Cup car? Anything of that matter. I mean, any fast track. ETV Live. We could see ETV Live on the Sprint Cup car.
There you go.
You know, I mean, it just seems like in this day and age, with the desperation, they're doing anything they can to put it on a race car.
Stroke a check for $100,000. You can be on any Cup car right now for the Daytona 500. I guarantee you.
Yeah. We're going to take a break. When we come back, we will chat a little bit more about the 500. We will also talk about some dirt track racing. I've got interviews with Don O'Neill, Jimmy Owens, and Earl Pearson Jr. coming up after the break. Do not go anywhere. That's recapping from the East Bay Winter Nationals. Also, Chad Stapleton's supposed to be giving us a ring. Now, I will let everybody know he is he is actually at Volusia right now, Volusia Speedway Park. And bottom line, we are going to be getting. Hopefully, we will get a contact call from him, Chad Stapleton, Marcus. But again, he is racing the World of Outlaws or the UMP Dirt Car Race late model show at Volusia. They might be behind schedule. He might be on the track qualifying. But he said, if I can get the time, I've got the number, I will call in and we will do that. If not, we'll find a way to keep it going. Mike Neff at Daytona. I will be there on Thursday through the weekend. And also, I'll be announcing the big sprint car race, the Ron Laney Memorial at East Bay Raceway Park. So a lot of great things going on, and we're going to take a quick break. When we come back, we will talk more NASCAR. The official season's finally here, and we appreciate y'all tuning in to ETV Live, powered by the HD Radio Network, and the Winner Is Motorsports Show. We'll be right back right after this word.
The fever. Intense. NASCAR racing experience. The authentic racing experience. Packages start at just $329. Thrilling. Yeah. The rush. The NASCAR racing experience. Call 1-877-RACE-LAP today.
Thursday night's Asphalt Assault paves the way to ETV Live. If you watched Real Sim Racing League's Full Throttle Cup Series on ETV Live last season, you saw some of the best racing ever televised. Hang on to your seat, cowboys. We ain't done yet. Fill your coolers and park your butt. Real Sim Racing League comes to Thursday nights at 9:30 p.m. with another great series. Sponsored by Inside Sim Racing TV, Asphalt Assault Series features a nationwide car and some of the toughest racing you'll ever see. ETV Live, your online autosports entertainment network. See us at etv-eplay.net.
The sense of pride and craftsmanship goes into every tire we make. You can just feel it. And it doesn't matter if the tire's for a world-class race team or a Saturday night short track driver trying to make it to the big time. The same pride and quality and craftsmanship goes into each and every tire we make.
You can measure the success when the checkered flag falls. When it falls on a Hoosier tire, there's a lot of proud people that were involved in making that.
Bob and Joyce Newton built their family business on a commitment to produce tires of the highest quality. They went beyond the standards of the day to create a higher standard that would keep them reaching for higher levels of performance. Today, hundreds of Hoosier Tire employees help them meet those standards and exceed them every day.
I believe we truly do produce tires designed for champions.
We make racing tires, and we want Hoosier to make the best.
Hoosier Tire. Tires designed for champions.
I'm saying and the winner is Brad Keselowski.
Yeah, what are you going to say? Hi, this is 2012 Sprint Cup champion Brad Keselowski, and you're listening to
And the winner is.
Hey, welcome back, everybody. Even Brad Keselowski tunes in to And the Winner Is, Marcus.
That's right.
Absolutely. It is
with a light beer in his hand.
Miller Lite, absolutely. And it is another great show that we do every Monday night, 6 to 8 p.m. Eastern. I believe it's also on the HD Radio Network, too. Big job, big thanks to John Wesley running our boards tonight in Indianapolis, Indiana. Always does a great job. J.D. Webb, I think he's taken off. Safe travels to him, and Godspeed under the knife. He's got to have a very critical surgery done tomorrow, and pray everything comes out okay. Phil Foltz with HD Radio Network also doing an outstanding job, too. And, man, what a great show. Just getting everybody hyped up and excited and prepared, because I'll tell you what, it is officially here, racing season for the 2013 season.
Something else I want to touch on,
we're
talking about the Gen 6 car. Remember, we also talked the other week about the new dryer system, track dryer system that they're going to be using. There's something else new that NASCAR is implementing starting with Daytona, and that's their new laser inspection system. And they had some problems prior to their qualifying yesterday, and which backed up the entire qualifying process. And be nice to know some more inside information on that. Hopefully, Mike can find something out about that.
Yeah, I think we'll definitely look into that. So you're saying that the jet dryer machine was not...
No. The jet dryer, we're talking about new things that NASCAR is doing in 2013.
Right.
The Gen 6 car, the track dryer system that they're implementing. Well, they also implemented a new laser inspection system for the cars, for the measurements, to be more precise and quicker to get the cars through tech inspection, okay? And they had some issues with that new system for the 500 qualifying yesterday, which backed them up a little bit, and had quite a little bit of an issue there, and it'd be nice to know a little bit more about that. Maybe Mike can find out while he's down there.
Right. Well, I'll tell you what, it should be interesting to see what happens with all of the great stuff. I want to remind you as well, starting next Monday night, Monday and Thursday, it is the start of the RSR Icebreaker Winter Series is in the books, and it will now be ready to go for 36 grueling weeks for the Full Throttle Cup Series. The RSR Full Throttle Cup Series, and of course, join me and Michael Keaton for the call of that every Monday night, 9:30 p.m. Eastern on ETV Live, powered by the HD Radio Network. And also want to remind you, on Thursday night, Real Sim Racing also has the Asphalt Assault Series, which will be like the Nationwide car, and that'll be at Daytona as well, starting up on the 28th of February. Of course, so if you've got any plans, make sure you get it. And I've just been announced again before we went to break that, of course, they will now have 50 spots open for the Full Throttle Cup Series instead of just the regular 43. So a lot of big announcements coming in there, and we appreciate them. They finally got their heads in the game and made a decision, because I know a lot of drivers, simulation racers, wanted to do something about that. So I'm actually very glad that they did. I want to remind you, Thursday, 1 o'clock Eastern, the Budweiser Duels at Daytona. No wonder they are no longer the Bud Shootout. That's now what they wanted. They wanted the dual races. Gatorade backed out after, almost 20-something years of sponsorship, and Budweiser jumped in the gate. And this was just announced like last week. Budweiser stepped up to the plate, and they said, look, we'll do Budweiser Speed Weeks. We'll sponsor Speed Weeks at Daytona, and in doing so, we also want to have title rights for the duels. And NASCAR gave them what they wanted.
Let me ask you this. You think any of that has to do with Brad Keselowski winning the championship for Miller Lite last year?
I don't know.
I think they said we need to do something to counter that. That's what I think.
Absolutely. And, of course, everybody is hyped and excited. I'm going to play some interviews for you all. We got some downtime. Of course, it was a great racing event at East Bay Raceway Park at the Clay by the Bay. And we want to now hear the interview with Don O'Neill, who went to Victory Lane on Friday night in night number 4 of the East Bay Winter Nationals. I've got Don O'Neill, Jimmy Owens, and also the winner, Earl Pearson Jr. So just check this out. We've got a couple of sound bites for you. Hope you enjoy them.
1.
And the Winner Is Motorsports Show. Wesley Allen here, also color commentary for XCNTV's pay-per-view coverage of the Winter Nationals. And beside me is the driver of the 71 Masterville House car out of Martinsville, Indiana, the real deal, Don O'Neill. Don, I think it's safe to call you Back in Black, because it's been a while since you drove a black car. You made an emphatic statement here tonight. It's probably one of the best super late model races I've ever seen in my life.
Yeah, the black car, you know, it's growing on here, but, you know, I'm glad to have Optima batteries on board, you know, just with those colors and stuff, and to get a win from it, that's pretty awesome.
Absolutely, and of course, he has been running since Monday. You've been a really strong contender here at East Bay. I think you won 2 or 3 events here last year. You've been in the hunt on, I think, you know, Monday night you came close, Tuesday night you about broke through. Just talk about how it's been a rebuilding week to lead up to the first points race. Do you like the way Lucas Oil does that format?
Yeah, and, you know, I just feel like, you know, we're racing here all, you know, probably every night should be a points night. Yeah. You know, it's, you know, like I said, we was pretty decent nights, and we really don't want to talk about Wednesday night, but it was pretty ugly, but yeah, we can still count about with the top 10, so and you know, to get the job done tonight, you know, just says a lot about those guys, where they work on this race.
Talk about this great run between these youngsters like Bobby Pierce and, you know, of course, Doug Brown. And I know you had to fight a claw to get by him. Lap Traffic was in that way also. But, man, it looked like Lap Traffic respected you guys racing, but you reeled him in. And was you saving your equipment for the second half?
Yeah, I mean, it was pretty soft on tires. And I ain't been up there as well as saving tires. And it just like, you know, I rode there for quite a while. And really didn't know if I had a race car good enough to win. And then, you know, they had that caution too. And then you got big in on there at the bottom there. Got the rolling, and then it seemed like an animal got it rolling there. I could run really anywhere I wanted to run, and you know, and what a race, you know, and you know, what a job that Paris sport was. You know, it's pretty awesome. He was a 63 car, you know. Actually, on the fastest 63 car, he passed me back, and he passed me back, you know, and I was like, wow, you know, this kid's up on a wheel, you know. And it is nice to be able to have a racetrack where you can really get up on a wheel and race like you want to race.
Now, what's the plan? Go to bed, get you a good night's rest, and prepare to double down tomorrow?
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure we're.
Well, of course, that was Don O'Neill's interview. A lot of hammer beating, banging in the background. Marcus, you could tell they were just got done racing because they were really beating sheet metal, getting the cars ready for the next day.
Hand me a 3/4 wrench.
Absolutely. Don O'Neill won the event in fine fashion, and a great, great show he put on. And now we're going to hear the interview with Jimmy Owens. And it was a windy Saturday, and if we have some sound issues, we will cut it out. But I will let everyone know, Marcus Morgan, it was windy, it was cold. There was snow here in North Carolina. I'm glad I wasn't in the snowstorm. I was so glad I wasn't down in
It snowed in South Carolina. What are you talking about?
I know it snowed, but I'm just glad I was in Florida. It was cold, it was windy, but there was no snow on the ground. Jimmy Owens, the O Show, winner of the Saturday windy afternoon show of the doubleheader at East Bay. To close things up here on this Saturday doubleheader. Yeah, see, I don't even want to try to chance that, Marcus. The wind was just so bad. And I had a pretty good microphone. And, I mean, the wind was just killing it. It was just, guys, this is no lie. Viewers, listen. And, Marcus, it was like 20-mile-an-hour straight winds throughout the entire day after that rain front came in, that cold front come in, that put rain on the racetrack. But by the afternoon time for the nighttime race, it was almost blowing wind gusts of 50 miles an hour. I will tell you this much.
What's that?
There was one wind gust reported at almost 48 miles an hour, and it blew the chair off of the top of the tower, and it hit a fan in the stands. It hit him in the head. The person was okay. They refused medical attention. They said, I'm fine, I'm okay. I just want to be here for the race on Saturday night. And they did. And I chatted with them, and they said they were fine, okay. Well, when it was all said and done, and we talked about this driver, Marcus, the Hurricane, Earl Pearson Jr., from Jacksonville, Florida, now from Welcome, North Carolina with Bobby Labonte Motorsports. And by the way, I just want to throw this out there. Bobby Labonte, I think they've got a great, great racing plan for 2013 and beyond. It is just phenomenal with a great performance they've put on. And, hey, I told Earl Pearson I'd do this for him. This is for you, Earl.
Yo, this is Bobby Labonte, and you're listening to And the Winner Is.
And not only did he win, Marcus, on Saturday night, driving one of the Bobby Labonte Motorsports entries, the Longhorn Chassis Chevrolet. But it was the first time in 3 years at a race that me and you attended. Last time he went to Victory Lane, the $50,000 Dirt Track World Championship. What a good show for the Lucas Oil 44 Longhorn Chevrolet power entry of the Hurricane Earl Pearson Jr.
That's awesome, man. He's a good driver.
Absolutely, and just a great performance by everybody. Yeah, absolutely. I agree, John, but it wasn't me that done that. That was Mike Neff that done the promos. We'll have to get them fixed when I go down there. But yeah, we need to definitely work on some promo stuff for ETV Live and HD Radio Network, and a lot of great things are in the works. Yeah, you're right, John. So, but I'll tell you what, though, Marcus, it's just we hint on this at the top of the show. It's disappointing that the car count got split in half. And by the way, Darrell Lanigan was the winner of nights Friday and Saturday at Bubba Raceway Park for the World of Outlaw late models. Last night, the man we had on last Monday night, the Rocket Man and the #1, Josh Richards, won the $20,000 show at Ocala at Bubba Raceway. And I wanted to talk to him, but he's focused on racing because they've packed it up now from Bubba's Raceway Park at Ocala, Florida, Marcus, to now run 6 straight nights of UMP late model and World of Outlaw late model racing at the University of Northwestern Ohio Dirt Car Winter Nationals at Volusia Speedway Park in Barberville, Florida.
Wow, that's a lot of racing going on down there, isn't it?
A lot of crazy schedules,
yes. A lot of crazy schedules.
And it's like I said, everybody could have had their piece of the pie and had a successful deal and started competing against one another. And it's just really a shame. It really is. And there's no other really word for it. But anyhow, when it was all said and done, Earl Pearson Jr. was ecstatic. He was happy. He was just glad to be back in Victory Lane. And this is what he said during the interview on Saturday night. And the Winner is Motorsports Show post-race on Saturday and the final day of the 37th Annual Dart Winter Nationals for the Lucas Oil Late Model Dirt Series, second points race of the year, and a breakthrough for the driver that's nicknamed the Hurricane out of Jacksonville, Florida, now from Welcome, North Carolina, with the Longhorn chassis, full-time year this year, and putting a new Chevrolet power plant in the machine, and man, it paid off. We're talking to Earl Pearson Jr., part of the Bobby Labonte Racing Stables, and I know you got to be happy. 3 years since you broke through into Victory Lane. It's got to be exciting.
It is. I mean, we got a lot of new things going on. Like you say, it's been 2.5 years. We kind of struggled, been up and down, a lot of top 5, but no wins. And, I mean, we just struggled big time for 2 years. And, you know, Bobby Labonte and Terry Labonte and Justin Labonte, they all wanted to, you know, get involved in the chassis business. And we knew it was going to be a struggle. But, hey, I mean, at the end of last year, I told the guys, hey, we got to do something. And that's when we got in there, had a big meeting. And we got the Rumleys come aboard. You know, Kevin Rumley, I mean, he's an engineer. Been around dirt racing all his life, and his dad built motors all their life. And hey, I mean, the whole combination has come together. We got Steve Shaver as he's gonna be driving, you know, house car too. So I mean, that's big for us. And I'll tell you what, a month ago that thing was just a couple pieces of tubing, and them guys have worked their butts off at the shop there, and all the guys on the road. I mean, to come down here at East Bay, we're a place where I struggle myself. Yeah. And I've only won 1 race here, and to win a race here tonight, I know tires played a big part in it, there's no doubt. I was on soft tires early like everybody else was, and maintaining fifth, and you know, I wasn't going to win the race like that, and I had a flat tire. I had to come in, and that's when they had the long caution. I was able to change all 3 tires, and we went back out there. I knew my car was good, and I just worked myself through there, and a couple people had flat tires, and you know, and everything lined up for me. You know, with like 10 to go, I was sitting 3rd. And I just went to the high side. I knew I had hard tires on, and I knew I'd be able to go. And that's what I did. Went up there and just drove around them on the high side. Then when I got to the lead, just drove right back to the bottom where it's rubbered up and, you know, just maintained and went on to win the race. But I can't say enough to my guys and all the people at Longhorn Chassis, Bobby Labonte Racing, Lucas Oil. Like I say, it's been 2 years of struggling. And just to come down here in Florida with all my family here to win, that's big.
That's got to be awesome, Marcus. It's about a 5-minute interview, but that's about the first 3 minutes of it. But I have just been informed we'll be getting a phone call here any minute from Chad Stapleton. the Total Chaos entry out of Indianapolis, Indiana. We'll holler at him and talk about it. He'll be in our final segment. But, man, how about it for the Hurricane EPJ to finally break through into victory lane and win that race at East Bay?
I tell you what, East Bay is a lot tougher than people think it is, and if you can win at East Bay, you've got some talent. I mean, there's no doubt about it.
Absolutely, no doubt about it. And we are going to go to the phone lines. He is giving me a call right now. We're going to add him to our call and get him on the program. Ladies and gentlemen, the driver, the number 32 entry out of Indianapolis, Indiana, part of the Jerry Jones Motorsports program, Total Chaos, Chad Stapleton. So you've gone from Tampa, Florida, where we thought it was going to be sunny and 90 degrees or 80 degrees, where rain and wind and cold weather came through Saturday, and now you're at Volusia, where it was cold as 40 Dickens last night, and you're ready for one solid week of racing. So you're still down in Florida, Chad. How's things going for you this evening?
You know, Wesley, this is the first time I've been down here to Volusia. I've been to Volusia to watch. I've never been down here to race.
Right.
Oh, my God, fast, ain't fast.
So it's fast, fast and fast. That's the best way to describe it.
Yeah, it's crazy fast. That's what I told my guys. It's a wow. And then tracks is probably about, we're probably 2 seconds faster than hot laps, and I thought I was flying in hot laps. And then we just, car, once again, was a little tight, not pretty up enough, and buried herself in the heat, but we'll go out there and give her our best shot, see what we can do, and do the best we can do.
I got a question, Chad, because me and you got to really get to know each other a lot more this weekend, and you're just one awesome talent. I just want to tell everybody that the reason why Chad got the media attention he got at East Bay was because he wasn't afraid to get in front of a camera or a microphone and talk to us. There's so many race teams, Marcus, that they don't want to talk to the media. They don't want to associate with nobody. It's all about PR. It's all about marketing.
That's right.
And damn it, if you know those that's him. If you know how to do it, then you're going to get the attention. And Chad, I think that's one reason why you got all the media exposure you got this past week, man.
Well, I tend to say some pretty stupid things I probably should say sometimes, but I'm just the type of person that speaks my mind and just let it flow, you know, and maybe that's the problem with some of the other drivers. They're afraid they're going to say the wrong thing or not, you know, and so, I mean, heck with it. It is what it is. If you screw up and say the wrong thing, half the people make mistakes. So
that's right.
I just kind of say what comes to my mind, and whatever it is, however it comes out, it comes out.
But tell us how you came about putting a skull on your race car there.
I really don't have a clue. I've never been a skull type of guy, and I've always rode Harleys and stuff, but never would when I bought the Harley shirts. You know, if you got the bike, it's not the fact of affording the bike, it's the fact of buying the clothes. And
yeah,
I never would, never done skulls. I just wasn't a skull guy. And then Mike Hobson there at his decal company came up with a decal, and he used to say, well, you got to do skulls. He said, you're a maniac and you're an idiot. He said, you and skulls go hand in hand. So
now,
he did me a skull, and I told him as long as it was a happy skull, not a mad skull.
Now, Chad, I understand that that you were at Ocala at Bubba Raceway Park last night, and it was cold as it was cold. Talk about just how cold it was out there yesterday for that 20.
It was cold as hell. I mean, it was freezing out there, and it was real cold. And actually, today I'm kind of a little bit under the weather from last night, but it was cold. Some pretty good racing, but it was cold, and you know, some of the things us dirt junkies do to endure go out there in this cold weather and sit out there in 40-degree temperature and run 100 mile an hour. You know, or even the fans up in the stands sitting out there and these cars coming by you 100 mile an hour with all the wind off of them. So I guess dirt fans and racers is a breed of their own.
Absolutely. Hey, real quickly, Chad, can you give us an update on the car count? How many late models, UMP late models, are out there running tonight at Volusia, and how many modifieds are there ready to run for the Big Gator and the Gator Nationals for them?
They said something about 80 mods, and I think there's somewhere around 60 late models. They're just now running the mod comp this year. Trying to step aside here. Yeah, I think there's 80 mods with 60 late models. And I did, I went over last night, Wesley, and talked to Clint a little bit. Had to get Clint lined out.
Absolutely, and of course, it is definitely going to be if 48 are entered. Excuse me, I just got this. Excuse me, 48 World of Outlaw cars or UMP late models are actually at Volusia. 48 cars and 82 modifieds. So that's what the car count is. But you know what though? That's better than having 30 and 30 at two different racetracks. Chad, what is your thoughts of Lucas Oil or World of Outlaws or whoever, and they're trying to run races against each other at the same time, kind of like what we saw at East Bay and Ocala last weekend and how it screws up the event? What does it do to drivers?
I mean, it separates everybody out. You know, Volusia right now is the only
they're winning.
Only place. They're the only place running here, so the car count's better. I think it's kind of hideous and crazy to try and separate. You know, do what's best for the fans. Get the best drivers and best cars at each track that you can get, and it makes the car count a hell of a lot better. And if you have a better car count, you have more fans in the stands, which everyone in the long run makes better money and more money. So, you know, I don't know. Maybe they need to work together a little more here or something. You know, why not have a week at Volusia, a week at East Bay, then a week at Ocala?
Yeah.
There you go. You have it saying the same thing we're saying. They need to work together. And
absolutely.
I think that is very key in going forward for 2013.
I told you, and the gas prices are horrible, aren't they? I mean, it's almost $4 a gallon. It's $3.75 for fuel in North Carolina. And I drove back from Florida yesterday when I was at Daytona, and it was almost $3.90 a gallon. Now, of course, I know there's price gouging going on, and people are trying to take advantage because of the NASCAR races or because of the big dirt shows for y'all speed weeks. But, Chad, how is that affecting diesel fuel for your toter trailers to go from Tampa, Florida to Volusia, which is almost about a 3-hour drive?
You know, diesel's pretty expensive, and we spend a ton of money. And as far as with diesel fuel, that's what we got to get down the other corner here. Spotify will spit out a lot. But you know, with the price, you know, I just talked to my wife tonight on the phone, and you know, I was checking because we can come down here and we run on credit cards, so I can keep everything in order. And my God, I've already got it maxed out.
Wow.
It's just crazy how much it does cost to come down here and do things, and
yeah,
and we're not one of these teams that we're handed everything. You know, a lot of people think that I get all this money. I get help from my sponsors, and it's great what help they do give me. But here comes Tyler Randy giving me a big hug. But it's expensive, and the price of things keep going up. And you know, at some of our local tracks, prices go up, but the pay doesn't go up.
Definitely, you're exactly right. And I remember at one point, you know, we were talking about it with another guest the other night. You know, Marcus, I remember a couple of years at East Bay, you had 114 cars down there at East Bay for the Winter Nationals, and now they only had 34 for the weekend, 36, 39 cars at Volusia or at Ocala, and now the cream of the, you know, even you got 48, 50 cars at Volusia. That's still a lot better than 34.
Oh yeah.
Right. Oh yeah. But you know, the 50 cars here, 40 of these 50s capable of winning this darn thing.
Exactly.
You know, and there's guys here I don't even think Jimmy's running tonight. I know McCool's not running. There's probably 10 or 15 guys or so that's not even running tonight. But crazy. This place is a fast place. I wish I knew where the nearest quarter mile was.
What is your plans for racing this year, Chad? Again, joining us on the program is the driver of the number 32 entry out of Indianapolis, Indiana, Chad Stapleton. They call him Total Chaos. And I just got to ask you, you know, what has your overall thoughts of the entire Speed Week visit for Florida been for you? Are you ready to get back up north? Because it seemed like after I talked with you Saturday night, you had gotten a pretty good heat race with Scott Bloomquist, and you battled right there with him. For people to say, you know, what people were making comments on forum or whatever about you, that you don't have driving ability, well, they're full of crap because they should have saw what you did against Bloomer at East Bay in the heat. Not backing down, not backing off. And by the way, also the great YouTube video of you battling Kent Robinson at Brownstown also shows what kind of a caliber driver you are too.
You get these dumb idiot keyboard jockeys that hide behind their screen name and think they know racing and think that they talk about how easy it is, that they can do this, they can do that. They ain't got a clue. They're idiots. The way I look at Wesley, they're picking on me. They're leaving somebody else alone. At least I'm out here giving an effort, trying to do it, trying to promote the sport, trying to give back to the sport. But yet people want to run you in the ground. So it is what it is. They can say what they want. If they really got that big of a problem with me, I'm not real hard to find at a racetrack. Some guy with the loud music and skulls on his car.
Absolutely.
That's right. That's right.
The music was pumping Eminem out whenever I was trying to do an interview with him with Tyler Reddick. And I'll tell you what, you've grown quite fond of the California kid, Tyler Reddick. Talk about that, Chad.
What's that with Tyler? Oh, Tyler's my buddy. Tyler's a good kid. I think Tyler's going to go far in this racing deal. And I don't know. Tyler's just, we've taken a liking to each other, and good kid, got his head on straight, and good racer, and drives his butt off. And I enjoy talking to Tyler. Like I said, we have a pretty darn good relationship. As you know, Clarence and his family, and they're all good people, and they're just fun people to hang out with.
Absolutely. Now, you told me this story on Saturday or Friday, but I want you to tell everybody where you got the nickname Broken Toe Chad from.
Broken Toe.
I was, like I said, man, I've been doing this about 6 years, and I've always been a pretty big competitor. And I was at Brownstown, and I stepped on my thing a couple times and come in and was all mad. And there was a tire sitting up against my trailer on, like, the cable that comes down, and I kicked the tire, and that broke that damn thing right in two. I mean, it was horrible. It was awful. So that's there for a while. We was Broken Toe or something. But and you know, it's a story I can tell my kids and my grandkids and on down the line.
What would you want to take out of your career with racing, Chad? I mean, would you like to make it up to the big time with like Jimmy Owens and Pearson and run a full-time schedule?
Oh yeah, that would be awesome to get into the Lucas stuff. That Lucas or World Outlaws. I'm still a little bitter at Lucas right now, but
let's hit on that because you have the right to speak your opinion on this show. Why? What are you?
I understand, man. With the series, and you got your guys, but a blind man can see what's going on with it. And there's just a lot of favoritism with it.
Politics.
Give everybody a fair shot at it.
That's right.
Don't try and just because you're Hutch Strickland or something or whoever it may. I don't care who it is, but don't give favoritism to all these guys. If you're not in the lineup shoot when you're supposed to be there, then roll without them, or at least put them on the tail, or do what you say. I mean, you sit and you would watch all these guys. They would be calling, 5 minutes, get the lineup shoot, get the lineup shoot, get the lineup shoot. Then you see these other cars that's still on jack stands with no tires on it, and they're in the same heat race as Conti as you. And, hell, that's an extra 5 minutes I could have worked on my own stuff.
That's right.
So
keep it fair.
Just got to cut out the favoritism. I mean, it is what it is. You know the rules. They tell you the rules at the driver's meeting. They tell you when you got to go. They come through and tell you, and I don't care if it's Scott Bloomquist, Donald Neal, Steve Francis, Billy Moyer, Bud McCool, me. I don't care who it is.
Yeah.
If you're out in lineup when you're supposed to be there, roll with it.
That's right.
And maybe they would things would be a little better. I don't know. But I'm sure with both series, there's guys that drive to complain and have complaints about this, complaints about that.
How hot were you?
It is.
I know you were pretty mad at Richie Lewis, the series director for Lucas Oil, on Saturday night. I'm sorry, I just tell it like it is.
Well, I just think they made the wrong call on me, and they shouldn't have made that call. I mean, the guy come in, and one of the track officials told me he didn't touch me, and my left rear quarter was beat to hell. So if he didn't touch me, then why's my quarter all banged up? And don't give me that nonsense. And to be honest with you, after that had happened, I was a madman. I was mad at the world, and we went out there, and I think we was in 10th, and like 2 or 3 laps got up to 4th, and I come in, and Gator told me, "My God," he said, "I'm gonna have to get you mad every time before you get that car because you're a totally different race car driver." But
you drive,
and you got these
stop.
What? Well, you got these guys. I mean, when you run Lucas or World Outlaw, whatever it is, there's guys. That's their job. That's what they do for a living. And the last thing I want to do is go out there and spin Jimmy Owens out doing something stupid, or spin Donnie out, or
right.
So you try and keep your head when you race with these guys, and all in all, the bottom line is when you do run with these guys, it makes you a better driver.
Yeah,
absolutely.
That's for sure.
I mean, if you keep running around and you know, hey, we might struggle here at Volusia tonight, but you know what? I've never been on this track. I want to try it. I don't even race a lot of big half-mile tracks, period. But
well, you've got
that's something our program is.
Hey, you have hot lap. What did you think of the hot lap session?
We hot lapped, and actually, heck, we went out there and hot lapped, and we was 7th fast over the top 3 groups, and I think we was 20th overall. And then I got there to qualify, and qualified good. At the track, got about 2 seconds faster, and we was way too tight. And I come in, and McCool told me, he said, "Stay from the gas is on the right." He said, "Take your left foot, put it underneath your brakes." And he told me, you know, you need to go in. He said, "You need to go in a little deeper." And I looked at him and said, "Hell with that." I said, "You get in there and go in deeper." But it's something when you're not used to it, and you get used to it. And you know, I'm not really used to the speeds of these half-mile tracks. You know, got Florence back around where we live, and
right.
Normally 9 out of 10, it's pretty slick, and you're, you know, in 17, 18-second laps. And here, I think we was a 16 something, and this place is a lot bigger than Florence. So
that's a lot of speed.
Oh heck, it's I come in, set in the car, and my crew guy come over, look at me, and said, "What do you think?" And I said, "Oh hell." that was fast.
Chad, have you? Chad, I got a question. Chad, have you ever thought about being a radio host or comedian personality? Because you definitely got the personality for it.
I would. What is it? The broadcasting. They thought Howard Stern was bad or Bubba the West Bunch. I'd probably be ran off the air in 2 days because I was really let loose. But nope, I don't have the voice for it, and nor do I have the patience sometimes. So I don't know. I'd probably be no poster on one of them shows or something when somebody called in and said something stupid.
Well, let me ask you.
Try to find them.
This is Marcus. I wanted to ask you, Chad. You come to Florida. You travel far, you know, from the Midwest to come down there. How do the Florida tracks compare to the Indiana and Ohio tracks that you're usually familiar with?
Oh my God, the speed.
He runs it.
Yeah.
The speed down here is so much faster. I mean, the speed is, you know, at East Bay, everything happens so quick, and Volusia, we ain't ran a heat race yet, but I'm sure it happens quick here too. And just the speed of it, you know. Back home, we get pretty much black slick stuff, and you know, Moeller's a pretty good racetrack. It's a pretty racy surface. You can get on YouTube and check out Moeller. There's always some pretty good races, but the speed of them places don't compare nothing to. You know, the speed up there don't compare to nothing down here. It's just, as we was talking today, it's crazy. You know, we got 10s on the car, and we go to Brownstown and turn 5 laps with a set of 10s on. Them things are beat half to death and down to the cords. And you go out here and run 150 mile an hour and come in and the tire's still good. It's just totally different dirt, I guess. I don't know.
Absolutely.
Do you like the higher speeds at these tracks?
I mean, I you know, 2 years ago, I loved the higher speed, but I don't know if I'm just getting old, and I don't know what the hell it is. I mean, sometimes I prefer a slick track now, but
yeah,
the speed is fun. It's crazy. I mean, if you've never experienced it, it's crazy to feel it. It's really pretty darn cool.
Well, that's awesome to hear.
Chad and Marcus, hang on a second. I got breaking news. This has just been released by NASCAR. Just in from NASCAR. They have debuted a new touring series, and it will be starting in 2013, coming up in March in Europe. The Euro NASCAR Touring Series.
Yeah, let's all put everything together and put it on a boat and head over to Europe. Yep.
Maybe they'll send Danica over there.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Hey, Chad, about that though, man. As a dirt driver, obviously, real quickly, what is your thoughts on NASCAR? Just total.
I think it's a bunch of rednecks living a Dukes of Hazzard fantasy.
That's great.
I mean, really, when you get down to it, I mean, it's and you talk to anybody, and Tony and Clint and guys like that. If dirt would pay what NASCAR paid, I'm sure they would prefer to be on dirt. That's racing. You know, you hear the announcers on TV, and they say, "Oh, look how he's battling that wheel. Look how he's doing that. Well, son of a biscuit eater, get in our car and we're sawing logs there. I mean, there's you know, they're out there on a Sunday drive and taking a drink out of the Gatorade bottle, and that stuff don't happen on dirt. And to me, NASCAR's it's all right.
Yeah.
But honestly, it's you know, you watch the first 10 laps on Sunday, and you take your nap, get up, you watch the last 10 laps. That's about as far as I go with NASCAR.
Oh, that's great.
What do you think, though, of Danica Patrick being the lady on the pole, first female for the 500, Chad?
Well, she's been wanting to date me. We went to different high schools together, so I told her I gave her some driving skills, but that's pretty cool, I guess. I don't know. It seems awful funny to me, but so be it. You know, out in Vegas, the odds are 150 to 1, so I think a guy's an idiot not to throw $100 on it and let it ride and see what you got.
Definitely.
And, you know, is it a deal to where maybe there's some advantage there and she got you know, just something to try and, you know, if you look at the stands at the NASCAR races, they're not quite as packed as they used to be, but who knows? Maybe she earned it. If she did, then good job to her.
There'll be a lot of Girl Scouts at the Daytona 500, I hear.
Yeah, I'm sure there'll be a whole lot of Girl Scouts and a bunch of rainbow flags and all kinds of stuff. You know, I heard this year's the first year they've had 2 girls on the front row.
Oh my God, Chad! Don't go there. Come on.
There we go.
Is there any truth to that? They got Geronda Gordon or something, and
Geronda Gordon.
Geronda Gordon and Danica Patrick.
Wow.
Well, you got SpongeBob and Patrick on there.
SpongeBob? Wow. Hey, again, this is Chad Stapleton. Chad, buddy, I know we'll let you go. I know that you've got to get your mind.
He's bringing some total chaos to this show.
He's bringing total chaos to it. I'm going to get sued by NASCAR. No.
That's just an opinion. They'll be all right. Like I told you, I went down Wesley and had to get Clint lined out.
Yeah.
Clint said, he said, my God, dude, he said, you're crazy. He said, but we need more people like that. He said, that's, like I said, a lot of these people are afraid to speak their mind and say what they want to say, and life's way too short to be as serious as them guys are.
Oh, yeah. Absolutely. Right. And before we get off, I want to actually play what what Chad's talking about. Listen to this. And the winner is
You know, but he's just so much fun to be around. We went, got rained out last night, went to the hockey game, and him and his son, they do such a good job of just, and Steve did a great job the other night.
Trying to find the comment.
It's a great situation. I can't wait to see the year unfold. It's been somewhat of a fun start so far.
No, I got a question, final question. You made a comment in an interview with my other broadcast partner, Chris Nunn, about Chad Stapleton's Total Chaos interviews. Can you in-depth a little bit more on that for us?
I don't mind it. What a mess. What a mess. I haven't met that guy. I can't wait to meet him.
He's back there.
I was telling somebody, my nephew and I were watching the race, and he kept cussing, and he was, nephew, he's 3 years old. We can't say that. I know. Tell him that. So, yes, can't be cussing on the radio and on TV.
That's the Chad, but bottom line, you guys got it straightened out amongst you and Clint Boyer.
Yeah.
Well, I walked over to Clint, and I talked to him for a second. I said, Clint, I guess you don't know who I am. And he's like, no. I said, well, hell, he said on the radio that you hadn't talked to me. I've talked to you several times up here at Barry's. I said, I'm Chad Stapleton. He said, oh, no. And he gave me a big high five, kind of a little hug. He said, dude, you're a maniac. He said, that's awesome. I said, I love it. Maybe we need some more stuff like that.
Right.
And Casey, Clint's brother, was there with him, and I guess it was Casey's boy that was watching TV. And I told Casey maybe his son can come stay with him a couple of weeks. I could be lined out. Now they're good people. Last year at Knoxville, me and Casey was hanging out after the races.
Yeah.
We got to argue about who could run around the racetrack fastest. I told Casey I could beat him running backwards. And he told me he was going to give me a head start. And I said, dude, we'll have both our fat asses be over on the backstretch, gasping for air, laid out. Who would he make the play?
Absolutely. Wow, definitely. Hey, Chad, we got to get out of here, man, but real quickly, thank out your sponsors before we bounce, dude. We got 1 minute to get off the air.
I'd like to thank Barry Race Car, Jay Dickens, Franklin Durans, Fast Shafts, Rousey's Bar, K&L Machine, Jones Cooler, Right Way Construction, BP Racing Fuels, After Racing Proud of XO and Shocks. Jason does a great job with that. Whoever else I forgot, I apologize.
Definitely.
Y'all have a good Christmas.
Hey, you have fun in Volusia, Chad. Thank you, buddy.
All right, buddy.
Total Chaos with Chad Stapleton. We got to have him back on the show again.
Chaos, go fast.
Absolutely. We got to get out of here. 30 seconds, Marcus. What do you think? Who's going to win the 500?
Danica Patrick.
You think so? All right, well, we'll find out. I'll be down there on Sunday. We'll do it again. We'll have a post-race show of the Daytona 500 and much, much more. By the way, be prepared for him to possibly run on a Monday. The way the weather people are saying, it might be storming down there like it did last year. Prime time Monday, too.
That's it.
Hey, for Mark Neff at Daytona, Marcus Morgan, the Madman, I'm Wesley Outland. Good night. God bless. Remember, replays of And the Winner Is on ATV Live, powered by HD Radio Network on Friday from 1 to 3.